Hey guys, this is my 2000 GT, and this here is a strut travel brace from a 95 to a 98, I believe, or it's an early SN-95 cross brace I got from the junkyard, so I don't mind cutting up and making it fit. Many of you know these don't really fit these 2000 GTs, these 99 to 04 GTs, so first thing I'm going to be doing is removing that nut right here and getting that out of the way. I may possibly be trimming these off, these up here. I may be trimming those off. We will see once I try fitting it. I know I can bolt it up here, over here as well. The issue seems to be in the back. All right, let's get started. So we've run into our first issue. As you can see, I've removed the box. Try to create some sort of shade here, but I've removed the box, and this box just holds a fuse for your electric fans. As you can see, this will bolt up just fine right in there. Same on this side, but we've first issue, which is up here. As you can see in here, I don't know if you can see that, but in here it scratches up back there. So I scratched up the surface of the bar, and this is where I'm gonna be cutting in here and on that side as well. That seems to be the only issue so far, as you can see. Let me try to get a good angle of this. As you can see in here, it hits back there, so that's all I'll be doing. I'll be first cutting that up. So hey guys, it's been installed for the most part. I did mark up the holes there. I did cut off that one piece I was mentioning, and it fits like a glove now. I will be trimming some pieces off. As you can see, there's no wiggling anymore, but I will be cutting off this piece in here because it's coming kind of close to that, so I will be cutting that off. No, it's not touching down here, and I don't want it to touch down there, so what I'm thinking is making these holes a bit bigger, or if not, making separate holes somewhere down here, somewhere up there, not this one particularly, but a bigger hole where there's more material. And preferably I'd like to trim all this off. I'd like to trim all this off, all this material. I don't really need any of that material, but I will be drilling into back here to install it, as that's what I've seen from most strut bars for the 99 to 04 new edge, is they do drill back here and they install against that, and people do remove their cowl to get that installed. But I will just be drilling these holes for today and trimming that back piece up. But overall it fits with just trimming out I used an angle grinder, but you can use a sawzall if you like, if you had the help. But I was alone, so I used an angle grinder. I will be trimming those off and making them a bit more round. That's little finishes, I guess, as you may like, or I don't know. I'm thinking repainting it. It is kind of rusted in this hole and in some areas, but that's for a later day. Just for today, I will be drilling those holes out and installing it as is for now. So hey guys, I did sand off some areas. There's a lot of rust in this area, so I did grind that down with the angle grinder, sanding disc on. One thing I was noticing is this thing did go down after I did sand a little bit more down, so I'm just gonna leave it as is and paint over whatever I have left over of material here. I may come in and trim parts of this off. I'm not too sure yet. There's a little way more clearance now. As part of this is okay for now. I'm not gonna be removing my cold air intake anytime soon. Maybe removing this bottom one, just to have 2 bolts on each side. And for this one, I am planning on adding caster camber plates. I just haven't had the time to do so, because it's not an extensive process, but I just haven't had the time for it. The caster camber plates, and well, I don't know what orientation these really go in, but since it's been a while since I've purchased these. I believe they go with this arrow going inside, and well, I was noticing it may have some clearance issues, so I may have to come back and cut this tab off and just rely on 2 bolts on each side like I was mentioning. I think it should be fine, top and bottom. I might as well just trim it off right now, save me the time and effort later on. So I may just remove it as of right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I don't need 3 bolts on each side, and as well on this side. I'm just gonna trim off the bottom one. I don't really need 3 bolts on each side. 2 bolts is fine. That's what I've seen from most strut bars. Is 2 bolts on each side. One thing I was relying on was if, in case there was no way of having clearance in the back, just removing this bar and that other bar and just having a single brace over like the 03 and 04 Cobras do. That's what I've noticed. Is they do have a factory crossbar, I believe, and that's what I was considering, is just cutting off that end and just remaining with the main hoop. But I'll get back to you. Hey guys, so this is how I intended on bolting them up. I did buy these 5/16 bolts from Home Depot, and I should have checked before actually drilling the holes, but you can see these are much smaller than what they are. And I drilled my holes to be 3/8, so now I have to go back to the hardware store and purchase more bolts to the correct size and correct length, as these are pretty long. I believe these are 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches. So what the plan is, I will be using them as is. I did buy a tool. I forget what the tool is called, but I did buy this tool on Amazon. I will link it in the description. It was like around 50 bucks. As you can see, this fits in perfectly. This is a 5/16. This is an M8, I believe, just for comparison. And yep, M8 fits inside the 3/8. So I will be back. I will be buying bolts for this strut bar. I will need, I did not end up cutting this tab off. I did realize that this tab is connected over this bar. So cutting this off here before that rivet, it's like a spot weld in there. So I can potentially cut it off at an angle like this, but I ran out of time for today, and yeah, this is how I'm gonna leave it as is. So cutting it in this area right there should be fine, and I may trim this off, but never mind, there's another spot weld right there. But yeah, I did end up trimming this side off, grinding it down just so it's a lot smoother, just before that spot weld I was mentioning. And I also did clean this up a little bit more. I'm thinking of trimming it down even more, potentially just, I don't know yet. I'm not gonna drill into that just yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit long until I drill into that. For future plans, I intend on keeping the car as long as I can, but this is a 2000, so with it being a 2000, this is a Windsor motor. And I do have a parts car laying around at a shop, so I will be pulling the engine off from the other car, which is an 04, and swapping it into this one. This one is an automatic 4R70W, and the other parts car is a 3650. And what I intend on doing is swapping them. And the reason why is because this is an 8-bolt versus a 6-bolt crank on the new Romeos. So this is what I intend on doing, is taking out this engine. It does have over 200,000 miles, so pulling this engine out, it is running, selling as is. Well, obviously I'm going to be taking my coil packs and my cold air intake and my throttle body, but other than that, the bottom end is getting sold. And I will be swapping in the Romeo engine in this to a 6-bolt crank as this with the clutch and flywheel, so if I have any issues there, considering there are slight differences between these and these Windsors and the Romeos, but you can search that up on a different video. And yeah, so far is what I'm doing, but just running out of time for today, and just take it off for now. I will be back. I will be painting over these, just a little rust through, like that caster camber plate, and these are going out soon anyway, so more on that later on. I won't be doing a video on that since there are many videos on how to replace caster camber plates, and I don't think there should be another one made by me, so that's all there is. So hey guys, I have inserted the threaded rivets. As you can see, I had to remove the whole cold air intake just to get to this side alone. It was much easier to just remove it. Here's my setup. It was just a bunch of clamps with flatheads. So I just grabbed the flathead screwdriver and took it off. It's much easier. Takes the hassle off. And this side I did struggle a bit. It is angled a bit off, but I will be going back with the hammer and possibly hitting it. I'm not too sure about that yet. These did come out really nice. This is the first time I do use threaded rivet gun. This is the one I got. It's off of Amazon. It was like 55 bucks, I believe. But yeah, they're in. And I'm ready for the brace. And these are the bolts I got. 3/8 by 16ths, and I got them as a 1-inch. These are the corresponding washers. They are 3/8. I'll be using a washer on top so it doesn't back right out. I was thinking about using a lock washer, but I wasn't too sure. This is just a temporary setup as well. This is not permanent, but so far so good. So here's after I bolted it on. I will be painting this. This isn't the permanent look, but yeah, look, looks pretty good. Bolted up. It's not bolted on completely, but it's on there pretty sturdy. This back I'm not too concerned with. I will be going back and drilling those out, or making a bigger hole there to support the back. But so far, like right now, like this isn't bolted up completely, so far looks so good. Alright guys, so far I've got it. I did have to remove this part from back here in order to get thread insert in there and there. I did use a smaller one. I used a 5/16 this time, versus these over here, which are 3/8. So these are much smaller. It's pretty easy. Just had to remove this, which is just 2 bolts there and back there, right there. Just 2 bolts, and it comes off. There's the vacuum lines, 2 connections, and the 2 hoses in the bottom. And other than that, it's not that hard of an install. But it's ready to be bolted up. I did remove the cowl back there, as you can see. This is the final walkthrough. It's all bolted up. All bolted up back there, and the cowl's back on. And yeah, that's it. It wasn't too hard. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. Just a couple hours, 2 days, but a couple hours out of each day. Not so bad. I'd really recommend it. Did stiffen up the car. Just took it on a test drive. It did stiffen it out as it should be. It is working like it should. And overall, it's an easy to install. Just have the proper tools, drill bits, drills, make your proper measurements, take your time. I did paint mine over. As you can see, I did have it sanded there, and I did paint over it. Painted completely. The metallic color, but came out nice.